Hey, how's it going, everybody? Yeah, I know, I'm late. This video should have been up last night instead of this morning, but I got a new phone yesterday, and you know, I got home, I had to transfer all of my apps and my settings and passwords and all that over to the new phone, and then, of course, new phone, gotta play with it. So I sat there and I went through most of my apps and just poked and prodded and see what it would do and how it sounded and how it looked and everything, and then made supper and all that other good stuff. And by the time I got all that done, it was kind of late. So I decided that I wasn't going to post this video last night. Uh, Instead, it's going up this morning. So, anywho, we are out here outside of the Motte and Bailey because I wanted to start out here. So I had flattened the ground all the way out to here, and this is the entrance into our wonderful little world here. Now, I did make a dock right here, even though this is an inland lake, and it's really not all that big. I didn't put a very big boat here, because honestly, I don't need a huge boat in this little lake that I've got here. And if we come over here to the entrance, you'll see that my drawbridges do not raise because I set them not to raise. If I walk over here and I push E, that will close. And I can close the other one too, which cuts off that side over there and protects me over here. So I got a fence all the way around here, and you can just see the motte up there. So let's go take a look at the rest of it. Nice big sturdy gates on the front here. And we got one lamppost. I put a couple of carts in here because, people got to go out and forage and stuff like that. So you need something to take with you. And we've got a guardhouse. There are 3 beds with 3 personal chests. They got a big iron storage here for armor and weapons. We've got a fire, a fish barrel, a pile of coal to feed the fire, and a little table with 3 chairs for them to sit at. And yeah, it looks kind of smoky in here, but that's why I've got those windows, even though you can barely see this one, uh, up there to vent out the smoke. And we come back outside and we keep following. Another light there. And we come around here to the forge. So we've got our smelter sitting here in the corner, and it does have ventilation up at the top there. Got a couple of lights around here, and then we've got a work desk where we can draw up plans for stuff, and then we've got some engineering supplies if we need them. And of course, every blacksmith should have a sink and some towels there because, man, it's dirty work. And then there's our forge here with all of the stuff around it. Really big anvil for working on other stuff. And then we've got a crucible over there. Going on from here, we have our charcoal kiln parked right outside. And I built a pen here for animals right beside that. And we've got one gate going in and out, so I got to get some animals in there. So there is that vent up at the top there for the smelter in there. Yes, I do still have a workbench buried in this bank right here because up until a little while ago I was still building. I decided to use this little space right beside the blacksmith here for kind of a little meeting place. Everyone can come here and sit on the logs and talk and stand up on the stone if they want, and address everyone here. And if we go up the ramp over here, we have the inn for when we actually get visitors. So there are 8 beds in here. Got a couple of hanging braziers up there. Birds occasionally fly through the walls. Always nice. And then we've got a couple of chests down here uh, for guests to keep their stuff in, so they can lock those if they want. We have a longhouse, which is not traditional in an English Motte and Bailey, but this is the Valheim. We got to have a longhouse somewhere in here. So we've got a great big long table here with some benches, and then we've got a cupboard over there for holding cups and plates and all that kinds of stuff. Big fire in the middle with our cooking station, and then another big long table here. So everybody in the whole place comes here to cook and eat, even though they can do it back at their own house if they want to. We'll go up and visit the Mott in a minute. This is a building you'll never find in a Motte and Bailey. This is the portal room. I put a nice little blue lantern up there for atmosphere. This portal will lead to other portals around the world if I need it to. And I put some crystal doors on it. This is the first house. So we've got an armor stand, a bed, and table and chairs, and a little sitting log there, and our campfire. And of course, we've got to have some ventilation for the smoke up there. Otherwise, we're going to choke to death in the middle of the night. And if we come over to this house over here, not actually a house. Nobody lives here. This is for storage, I decided. So we've got a couple of big bronze storages at either end. Bunch of barrels full of stuff. Extra coal and wood. And because we've got wood in here and this building is mostly made of wood, I put in one of these torches right here so it wouldn't burn the place down. Got a little birdhouse on the side of that house. And yes, there is a window right there. In this house, there is some ventilation up at the top on either end there. Table and 2 chairs. We've got a fire here, a bed with a personal chest. Whoever lives here, mainly it's just them, and occasionally when they have company over, they can go sit at the table. There's our well. And I put a garden in right here. So everybody who lives over here can just come over and use the garden. And over on the other side, behind the inn over there, there is another garden like this right over there. I'll show you that one in a minute. This house, pretty much simple like the other one. Sitting log, chest, bed, rug, fire, table. But this one's got 4 chairs because, well, this guy's a little more important and he has more people over. He's obviously got more friends than I do. So if we go over here and we take a little run behind the inn here, there's our other garden right there. Which is, the Mott has got a great view of both gardens if it needs it. And speaking of the Mott, let's head up there. So just a great big stone cylinder, really. And we've got flametal gates on the front. So they're going to hold up for a while. Decided to get a little bit creative with the flooring in here. This floor right here is Grouston. And then the other floor right there, that is in... Where did I put you? Nope, it's not there. Themed build pieces. Yes, these floor pieces right here. The stone tower floors. And I decided to use those because, they're stone. And they just kind of went with it. So we've got stone walls. We got a wood floor up there. And then we've got this nice round set of stairs in the middle that leads up here. And this is the only building that I haven't really decorated. I got a nice railing around here. That stone pillar just continues up from the stairs to support the roof. And then we've got a fireplace right here. So that actually worked out kind of nice because my door is set back here. And I was able to just put a couple of floor pieces above it and then put that wall further out and then put these pieces in here. And it just kind of made a nice little chimney right there for this thing. So that works out pretty well. Let's turn on our build hammer here. So you can see nice little chimney right there. There's nothing on the roof, and I don't plan to put anything on the roof. But there's our chimney. There's the inn, that garden, the other garden, the four houses there with the longhouse and our portal. And then we've got the smith, the animal pen, our little meeting place, the guardhouse. So this actually has uh, a reason behind it, and it's all defense. So anybody visiting has to come from over there. They've got to come across the bridge, through the gates, met by the guards, and then they've got to follow this path. And it goes up here, around that way, back here, up to the next level, and then over here, and then you've got to climb that ramp to even get to the motte. So if you do actually manage to break into this place, you've got to go on this zigzag path to get up to there. And by the time you get over here and get around this, everybody from these houses here and the longhouse and the inn and even the blacksmith are going to be up there in the motte. And good luck getting into that place. It's not going to be easy, I guarantee. And of course, you know, uh, we've got a wall, spiked wall at that, all the way around this place. And of course, we've got a moat. So pretty defendable, honestly. Um, you know, pull up the drawbridges here, and that almost cuts off their access because now they're going to jump in the water, come across, jump back out. Now they're soaked. Then they got to get through that gate. The guards are going to be at the gate waiting for them, and the blacksmith is probably going to be out there with them with some very large hammers. So, yeah, if you manage to get through that gate, you got those four guys to deal with. Well, actually, probably five, because there will probably be a blacksmith and an apprentice or two in there. So you got a couple of guys to deal with at the gate here, and then if you manage to get past them, all the way around here to get up to that metal door. And so the only valuables in the whole place, honestly, are going to be in the hotel here. But whoever is actually in there is going to grab their stuff out of those chests and come up here. Anybody who lives in those three houses up there are going to grab their stuff and bring that up here. And there's not really anything of value in the longhouse. The animals, of course, will not put up much of a fight, depending on what animals I put in there. Might put some boars in there. Maybe a couple others. I don't think that I will put in any large animals, just because they would probably trample that fence and get out of there. So we really don't want that. We want small, very easily manageable animals in there. So yeah, that is my take on a Mott and Bailey. I kind of like the design. Turned out pretty well. Uh, so now I gotta go find another spot out there in the world somewhere that's got relatively flat ground like this, and start on my next project. I don't know what the next project is going to be yet. Might be another castle, Who knows? This is the creative world. I could build just about anything in here, really. Uh, so we'll just have to see what captures my imagination and what I feel like building. So yeah, uh, we'll probably come back on the weekend. I know I only put out one video last weekend. Uh, I had stuff to do. So probably come back on the weekend and probably go into the playthrough world and continue the adventure there because anything that I build here in my creative world is probably going to take me a couple of days at best. So, need a little time to work on stuff like that. First, I got to find the project and then draw up some plans for exactly what I'm going to build, how I'm going to build it, and then I got to find a spot to build. So, yeah. So that's about all I got for right now. I will be back on the weekend and we will continue our game. So until next time, I'll catch you later.